From the heartland of America.
Hello and greetings from our podcast studio in Raytown, Missouri, which is getting more and more difficult to get to. Do you know what's going on around this place? It's like orange barrels and roads closed. And
yeah. Well, they had the road, which I won't say,
yeah,
that is next to our road, closed for like the entire time we've lived here. And then they finally opened it like last month. They finished the construction and now it's closed again.
Yeah. So it's an adventure to get here, but it's worth it because we have a lot to talk about today on the podcast. I want to thank Bob Watson for jumping on board, being one of our many sponsors here on Dale Carter's America. He is at 7th and Main in Blue Springs, 816-229-7878. We've given him a lot of work lately because little Lord Fauntleroy, the bonus kid who lives at our house, who's going to be a junior this year, finally got his driver's license. We got him a vehicle. Then you call Bob. It's like, okay, and Bob's working with me because he works with everybody to bundle their home and car insurance and save wherever they can, because it's all about getting the best insurance with the best team, and that's Bob Watson's team at the Blue Springs State Farm office there at 7th and Main. But it's also about price and getting the best value for it. Auto, home, life, whatever's important enough for you to insure, let Bob and his team work for you like they've worked for me for 30 years. He's the only insurance agent I've had in the 30 years I've lived in Missouri. Bob Watson, 816-229-7878. Like
tremendous people.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. We have a lot to get to here, and even breaking news that happens as we ramp up to do the podcast. But first, before we get to that, Kurt, tell them how they can help us spread the word. Everything that we talk about here on Dale Carter's America.
Absolutely. Make sure that you are subscribed on YouTube and Rumble. If you're watching the video podcast, you get to see our beautiful faces and all of the clips and things that we play. So make sure to subscribe, drop a like, drop a comment, and that all helps with the algorithm and helps get us in front of new faces. Also helps if you share it with your friends, send them the link. And then you can find the audio-only version on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. And then make sure to follow us on Facebook as well, where Dale posts all of his thoughts and musings.
You post on there once in a while. It's not.
Yeah, it hasn't been as recent as it used to be, but
probably coming back. So Kamala Harris. I always get that wrong, and people think I'm doing it on purpose.
Which is it actually?
I think it's Kamala.
Is it Kamala?
It's not Kamala. I think it's Kamala.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, she's not going to run for governor of California.
Oh, we were all waiting with bated breath.
I know we were, and so the speculation is she's probably going to run again for president in 2028. I was listening to Gary and Eric last night and their take on it. And Eric Harley is one of those guys who throws in a little line here or there that's just hysterical. And when Gary McNamara said she wasn't going to run for governor, Harley goes, "Nope, she's going to be appointed." I was like, exactly, because I mean, has she had a race where it was not already in the bag? I mean, you can only blow your way so far, in politics, and
literally,
she did that, to get the Senate seat. Thank you, Willie Brown, who got that done for her. And then she, with less than 1% in the polls as a Democrat running for president, I don't know why she thought she should run for president after, one term in the U.S. Senate. She drops out, and then they do that side deal with Clyburn down in South Carolina, and all of a sudden Biden's appointing her vice president.
Because he committed to appointing a black woman.
He did.
Yeah.
And, then Biden obviously has mental decline, can't run for president again, and he holds on until they have no other option but to appoint her without virtue of any primaries to run for president.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't she run for governor? I mean, she's obviously the appointed one. Why won't she run for president in 28 again? Because she has proven herself not only to us on the Republican side, but to the Democrats as well, that she is one of the stupidest persons in politics.
You're not a nice person.
All you have to do is listen to any of her word salads. It doesn't make any sense. So she says in not running for governor, she's going to use her leadership skills in non-political ways.
Yeah.
Over the past 6 months, I have spent time reflecting on this moment in our nation's history.
That's pretty good. I've not heard your Kamala. That's pretty good.
I was doing it in my head the entire time you were speaking so that it was ready to go.
Okay. So, before we get rolling too far into the podcast, I was just wondering, if we could speculate on 2028 matchups. I don't think she's going to be the nominee because she couldn't get through the Democrats the first time around. So who might that be if we were looking at it now? Because
she's the front runner, though, currently, right?
She's the front runner because they don't really know anybody else.
It's so early. I mean,
it is way early. You like Newsom.
I don't like him.
Well, I know you don't like him, but you like him for the nomination.
Yeah, I think he's got a good shot, yeah.
Shapiro?
Maybe. Yeah, he would be kind of the safe pick, I think.
I think he'd be a really safe pick.
Safe pick. Maybe
and I think
maybe too safe.
If you look at, a matchup down the road, whether it's J.D. Vance or Marco Rubio, I think those are the two front runners on the Republican side, don't you?
Yeah. I don't know about Rubio, but J.D. Vance probably, yeah. I mean, the only other thing is that, Trump kind of shook things up in terms of expecting a politician to be the nominee. You know what I mean? So you might even see somebody like, not saying him per se, but somebody like a Tucker Carlson or something like that, that kind of comes out of the woodwork. Not that he's coming out of the woodwork. He's been in politics for a long time, but you know what I mean?
Well, I got a left field pick later on in the podcast that the Democrats might want to consider because I think he is running, and it does come from that out of left field. Donald Trump cleared the way for this, so we'll get to that a little bit later on as well. So as we're going into a discussion about the economy and all that, your own personal economy probably orbits around a mortgage. If you're going to have a house, you're probably going to have a mortgage. Unless you're a Chiefs or a Royals player, you're not walking in and paying cash for a house. So you've got to have a mortgage. And the Red Carpet Lender is your key to the best mortgage you can get. Chad Taylor will work his butt off for you to get you the loan that you can be approved for. And it's all relative. I know interest rates are high right now, but it's going to be high when you sell, high when you buy. So it's all relative. If they're low, they're going to be low when you buy, low when you sell. So don't let that hold you back from making a decision you need to make, whether it's for a home mortgage or using that mortgage to dig out of the hole that you may have dug for yourself. Chad's a great resource in helping you figure all that out. No upfront hard credit hit to see if you can get approved for a home loan. He's going to waive lender fees for vets as a thank you for your service. Free appraisals for first-time home buyers, police, fire department employees, and school district employees too. Wide variety of loans. The credit score, he can go as low as 580 on a credit score. You don't need 20% down. There's so many things that Chad can work with you on at theredcarpetlender.com. Licensed in Missouri and Kansas. You can reach out to him on the phone at 816-896-2415. And then when you get that loan squared away, let's say you're looking to buy your first home. And I've seen Michael Schroer put up a lot of listings lately that are starter homes. But he has bigger homes if you got more kids you're adding, smaller homes if you're an empty nester again, and maybe a dream property thing that you want to build on. You need to get with Michael Schroer. So you get approved for a loan on how much house you can afford from Chad, and then you get a hold of Michael and say, here's my budget. Go find me a house. And Michael will love to do that. He's a broker with RE/MAX Elite and Lee's Summit, and he's got the listings. And we see them all the time. He puts them up on Facebook. I share some of them on the podcast page. Reach out to Michael if you are ready to buy. Get it locked in. School's going to start next month. If you got school kids, you want to get that new home locked in. And if you're an empty nester, you don't even care anymore. You just want to go find the house that you want. Here's Michael's number, 816-373-8400. You can get him on his cell, too, at 816-520-9342. Let's get you the house that you really want to be in with Michael Schroer. And thanks to both Chad and Michael for being part of the podcast. So, do you remember the doom and gloom that Trump was going to bring on a recession? I mean, that's all they talked about. Going to be a recession.
Yeah, everyone talking about their 401k.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Boy, stock market's really taken off here.
They're awfully quiet now,
Yeah,
aren't
they are very quiet. The old definition for a recession was 2 negative quarters back to back. And we had a negative quarter. It was slightly negative in the first quarter. You know, when Biden was president, they changed that, right? Remember that?
Yeah.
It's like, well, that's not really the definition of a recession. Of course, when Trump came in, it's back to, hey, you get a second down quarter, recession, baby. That's all they wanted to talk about. Well, the second quarter came out, and the experts out there thought it might be plus 2.3. It was plus 3, and that is epic. So even by the classic recession definition, we aren't close. There is no recession. And this, despite what's going on with the Fed, which we'll get into here a second. But I wanted to bring the wire copy because you know how much I love gigging the folks who write the NBC wire copy for us at KFKF. So I wanted to read it and almost give you the inflection that I think when they wrote it, they were feeling. So Wall Street is opening with stocks little changed. The Federal Reserve will make an announcement on interest rates today as investors believe they will hold rates steady. Meanwhile, the latest GDP report showed the economy grew at a stronger rate than expected. Damn it. At the opening bell, all three averages were little changed. Of course, by the end of the day, they set new records. So I don't know what they want to say about that. So despite all of that, you know, and the economy doing well, can you imagine if Jerome Powell came out and actually did rate cuts? Mm-hmm. This economy would take off like a rocket strapped to its ass. I think everybody sees that. They all know it. But the Fed won't budge. Now, this time around, the vote, there were two dissenting opinions of the Fed governors. So two of them wanted to raise or lower interest rates. But Jerome Powell is like sticking to his guns. Is it political? I don't know.
I don't know much about him. Is he like a very political guy or a big lib or something like that?
Well, I know that he lowered interest rates last fall, right before the election, and Trump went ballistic, saying he was trying to help Joe Biden, or Kamala by then, get elected president. But this is really funny, I think. Have you seen this video?
I just watched it last night when I was prepping the show.
Trump and Jerome Powell, they're at the Fed building's renovation. So they're both wearing hard hats and they're both at a microphone. And it's almost like a comedy bit because Trump's going to give him crap because of the cost overrun. And then they have a disagreement about it. It's like, yes, it is. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No,
Why
it's
is
not.
Tim Scott not wearing a hard hat?
Because he's a real man.
I was going to say something very insensitive right there. I'm not going to do it.
No, I love Tim Scott. I don't know why they're...
Is his head like harder than these guys' heads?
It could
he
be.
doesn't need it. He's got that nice hard bald head that protects him.
So they go through... I'm leaving that alone. Yeah. So they go through the building renovation. And first of all, Powell, this is why you got to watch the video version of this, because Powell looks almost like a cadaver. He looks like he's standing up, but he could be laying down in a casket, right? He's got his hands crossed. He looks dead, don't you think?
Yeah, he doesn't look great.
Yeah. And so they're going to come out and then Trump, just roll the video.
So we're taking a look, and it looks like it's about 3.1 billion. It went up a little bit, or a lot. So the 2.7 is now 3.1.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, it just came out.
Yeah,
he pulls out the page.
I haven't heard that from anybody at the Fed.
It just came out.
Our notes had it about 3.1 as well.
3.1.
3.2.
This came from us?
Yes. I don't know who does that.
Now, you're including the Martin renovation. You just added.
Our entire capital.
Yeah, you just added in a third building. Is what that is. That's a third building,
Well,
including
no,
the
but
Martin building.
it's a building that's being built.
No, it was built 5 years ago. We finished Martin 5 years ago.
It's part of the overall work.
But it's
So,
not new.
So we're going to take a look.
No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not.
That's so funny, man. And he does. I mean, Trump has so many things that are hilarious. Whatever we agree or disagree with him on, but one of my favorites is the hand motions, you know. And he does that. It's part of the overall work.
Yeah.
He does this with his
What I came away from that with, 3.1 billion to renovate a building, right?
Yeah, it's crazy.
And even if Powell is right, and that includes another building, doesn't that seem steep at a time when you could get a brand new NFL stadium for about half that?
Yeah.
What the hell are they doing there?
Yeah, how much is the new Highmark Stadium costing? Let's look this up.
Yeah. Because that's an NFL stadium that actually generates revenue and is an amenity for the town that it's in. But this is a building renovation for the Fed. My God, what are they doing there?
Yeah.
And did they have to finance it, or do we just add that onto the federal debt? I think I know the answer to that.
The price, December 19th, 2024, Sports Illustrated. The price of the new Bills Stadium has grown to over $2.1 billion.
Okay, so $2.1 billion. You get an NFL stadium.
Yeah.
That seats, 60, 70,000 people.
Right. As opposed to $3 billion for like some office building.
I know. Really? And they're moving all these people out of D.C. I don't know if you saw this, but the ag department's going to decentralize. They're going to 5 cities closer to where they need them. Mm-hmm. Gee, that makes all the sense in the world. Kansas City is one of those. They're going to have a lot of empty buildings in D.C. Mm-hmm. Why can't we put the Fed there? Why do you need, even if it's $2 billion, why do you need $2 billion?
Yeah.
I don't get it. I don't understand it. So here's what the Fed's stubbornness means in the real world. There's a Zillow report out on housing, and Michael Schroer could probably address this as well with us. But the housing deficit in this country grew by 159,000 homes to 4.7 million homes in 2023. The analysis found the housing shortage is driving an affordability crisis that's pushing millions of families to double up and live with non-relatives. I don't even like my relatives. I wouldn't let my relatives live with me. Non-relatives?
Yeah.
Really? And did you see that the age of people who are buying houses is getting older? Used to be in their 20s. Now the average is like 31.
Yeah, for first-time home buyers. Yeah.
Right. That's another reason to cut rates. Because again, if you cut rates, this economy is going to explode. It's on the verge of exploding. I mean, it's doing things now that nobody thought could be done, which is why, everybody was saying, oh, recession, Trump's recession. Of course, now they'll probably go back. I haven't seen anything after the second quarter numbers came out, but I'm sure somehow they'll give Biden the credit for it. It wasn't Biden's fault in the first quarter, even though Trump didn't come in officially until January 20th. But I'm sure Biden somehow gets the credit for what happened in the second quarter. Why doesn't he just fire Powell?
I guess he can, right?
Yeah. I kind of have a theory on
maybe
that.
He likes it. Maybe he likes he likes the
foil,
the back and forth.
Yeah.
He needs a punching bag,
and he's definitely got one. Yeah. Powell's term is up in May. I don't think there's any way he gets reappointed.
Yeah.
So you just saw a dead man walking with a hard hat on. Yeah.
5 worst housing deficits in 2023, by the way, are San Jose, San Diego, San Francisco, Boston, and Los Angeles.
Wow.
4 out of the 5 in California.
And both of them on coasts.
Yep.
So that tells you exactly what's going on there.
Yeah. And this was a separate thing because you just put that in the notes. I wasn't sure exactly what you were looking for, but this is something else that I found since we're talking about housing and mortgages and all that. This is the Zillow Home Value Index per city. So here you can see month over month or year over year. We'll do year over year. Which cities have the highest housing price growth and the lowest drop. So Cleveland is at the top. These are all obviously places you would want to move to, right? Kansas City, 2.1%, 2.01%. So pretty close to the top. Then you go down here. Year over year, Austin, Texas, minus 5.8%. Tampa, minus 5.7%. So a lot of these cities that people, associate with being like these high class, expensive cities, people are fleeing and the housing prices are starting to drop. So I think the bubble is bursting, but it's bursting in like specific places, obviously Austin, Tampa, Miami, Dallas, San Francisco, Jacksonville, Atlanta, Denver, all these places that are like big metros where with really expensive housing, those prices are starting to drop.
Be interesting to see what happens in California.
Yeah.
Because you talk about a bubble about to burst, that's definitely going to burst. And, meanwhile, against that backdrop, Trump's getting things done. I will admit I apparently was wrong on tariffs. It worried me about tariffs because I look at tariffs, and a lot of Republicans look at it this way, that it's a tax. because if this country over here sends something over and all of a sudden there's a 10, 15, 25% tariff on it, surely they're just going to pass that on to the consumer. But I was wrong about that. And the government now has generated $150 billion so far this year in tariff revenue. Companies are eating that. And you know, when you think about it, when you step back a little bit and you look at it from 30,000 feet, it kind of makes sense. Because if you make a product in another country and there are American companies making that product, you've got the market of the United States and you want your product to be viable in the marketplace. So you're going to eat the tariff.
Yeah.
Because you want to sell your goods. So instead of, you know, $100 that you make on this thing, maybe you make 90, but 90 is better than nothing.
Right.
So little lesson in economics that Donald Trump is teaching. All right. And then, of course, the left was bitching about him visiting his golf courses over in Scotland. They never said anything about, you know, Joe Biden, like looking like a cadaver in his beach chair in Rehoboth, where he was more than probably he was at the White House, right?
Yeah. At least Trump can play golf.
Yeah.
Biden can't even like swing a club.
But he's over there in Scotland, and number one, he owns these courses, right?
Right.
These are his businesses. He is so different from anybody who's been president because he actually has run companies and he has all of these holdings. What did Joe Biden have? And how did he get it? I guess nobody ever answered that question, the how did he get it part. So he's over in Scotland.
Here's the golf course, by the way.
Oh, yeah. Is that the new one?
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful.
Oh, it looks great.
Yeah. There you go.
Probably very expensive, but...
Well, I'm sure it is. You know, the best things in life are pretty expensive. So, but while he's there doing all that, he also brought the EU in and he did a historic deal with them on tariffs. And guess what? Everybody says he's in bed with Vladimir Putin. The deal he did with the EU hurts Russia. Because all of a sudden, we're going to be supplying these countries with, you know, energy, fuel that they were getting from Russia. So it's really hard to put anything on Donald Trump, which is why they always fall back to he's Hitler, he's Osama bin Laden, he's Jeffrey Epstein's buddy. You know, that's all they've got. Because when you peel back the layers and you get to the things that we care about, the actual policies that are happening, he's killing it. And you know, I wasn't a Trump guy.
Mm-hmm.
I remember back when we were in the other studio, right? And I'm like, anybody but Trump. Let's just get the clown car off the track, put in somebody like DeSantis who will do all the same policy things and move us down the road. And I'll admit to you, I was wrong on that too, that he's getting it done. And America is coming back, and I feel it.
Yeah, I think we've maybe kind of flipped on that a little bit. It's interesting because, I mean, I still think he's doing some good things, but I've become more critical of him since he's become president again, just because of some of the foreign policy stuff with Ukraine and Israel, the lackluster performance on immigration, and other things.
You think it's been lackluster?
Yeah, I mean, they were campaigning on mass deportations. We just haven't had that. I mean, he's not even close to on pace to what Obama did, much less, you know, actually fixing the problem.
Well, you would think with the way the Democrats are talking that you know, he's deporting American citizens. They just got the goon squad pulling up, and Kurt, you may be walking down the road, maybe you've jaywalked, and somebody with a mask is going to take you and put you in alligator Alcatraz.
Yeah.
Which is not true, but that's how they're positioning it.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Well, to be continued on that. You have some other, you want to show, did you already show this stuff?
I showed the this was just a fact sheet from the White House on the EU thing. You can go to whitehouse.gov and check that out. And then this was the golf course. And then this, I just thought was funny because it was when I was looking up Trump's golf course. You know, I'm a golf guy, so we got to play it. Check out his weird putter stroke. I first saw this in the video that he did with Bryson DeChambeau on YouTube.
Yeah.
He's got the weirdest putter stroke ever, but he drains this. Look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of a twist to it, right?
The heck is that?
Kind of a little bit of a twist.
It's got like, he like really forces it through there. I don't know.
If
I
it
would never
works,
putt
who
like
cares
that.
what it looks like?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I mean, how do you putt?
Not good. So,
All right. So next up, his EPA is going to go after the Obama administration finding on greenhouse gases. That was the finding that the Obama administration put out that allowed them to do everything that they did in an attempt to cripple everything that fuels our economy. That finding is the root cause of all of that. So watch that, and you'll see that in the coming days. Lee Zeldin has been on all the networks talking about that. That's going to be crucial moving forward. I saw this, and I kind of put it in here because it felt like it fit, and that's Ron Howard and his take on liberalism. I saw this on Facebook. You put in here, if you're referring to one.
yeah, I don't think he actually wrote that.
Oh, he didn't write that.
No, if it's the thing you're talking about, it's like a real long, like essay type thing.
So he didn't write
bullet points 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay.
Yeah, it's attributed to somebody else from 2018.
Okay. So. Well, then it's not Ron Howard, but it does talk about all the things that liberals say they care about.
You still want me to read it?
Yeah, not really.
Okay.
None of it's not Ron Howard, but it talked about things like paying for education, paying for health care, blah, 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 blah. But the one line in there that I thought was really weak was fascism. I know what fascism is because I've read some books. Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, I'm control effing for fascism in the.
What has Trump done that you people think is fascist? And I know we have some left-leaning folks, some Democrats who watch this podcast, listen to the podcast, certainly weigh in on Facebook. What has he done that's fascist? Their biggest issue seems to be removing illegals from the country. The illegals that Joe Biden let come into the country. Okay? But we know that was part of his mandate to get that done. And what he has done is secured the border. We're not having people come across anymore. They've gotten the memo worldwide that they are not welcome here. This is not Joe Biden's America anymore. Come on in. Bring us all of your criminals and insane people and all that. They've gotten that message. Now we just have to get them out of the country, right? And that's what they are doing. They're not doing it as fast as you want them to do it, but they are getting it done, okay? I would argue that what the Democrats have tried to force down our throats is classic fascism, right? You accept the state's view or you're in real trouble. We're going to come get you. Isn't that what they did?
Yeah, and it's liberal governments both in America and around the world that are coming after people for free speech, which I know you put in the notes, with some of the pro-life protests that are happening here and stuff like that. But I mean, in other countries, in the UK and Australia and elsewhere, they'll put you in prison for, a social media post. And I think that's coming here too. So
that was the slippery slope that they wanted to go down. But if you didn't accept the state's view on you need to be driving an electric car, you're going to be in trouble. And not only that, we're going to skyrocket the cost of gasoline. We're going to force you into this electric car. And then while we're doing that, and it relates back to that finding from the Obama administration, no gas stoves, no gas water heaters, no gas heat in your home. And then you had some really crazy people out in Los Angeles who wanted to put you in jail for not using the right pronoun. Mm-hmm. There were certainly going to be penalties for that.
Not to mention COVID. I mean, that's the biggest example that we have.
Exactly. We dealt with that in Jackson County. They shut this county down.
Yeah.
And they shut down a lot of counties nationwide because of that. It gave them license to act in a fascist way where the state was taking over everything, right? If you don't accept that, if some guy with a schlong decides he's a woman, if you can't accept that, you're wrong, and we're going to come after you. Mm-hmm. If you don't accept that a 6'2" man wants to be on the women's swim team and break all the records, if you don't accept that, we're going to come after you. If you dare to go to a school board meeting and object to what your kids are being subjected to, we're going to send the FBI and take down your license numbers. How is that not fascist? That is fascist.
Yeah.
So hit me with what you think Trump has done that's fascist, other than, I read it in a book somewhere, and I think that's kind of what they're doing over there.
Well, it's just the new buzzword. I mean, it's like racist, misogynist, all this stuff. They don't know what it means, more than likely, or they just use it to lob as an insult to control the narrative because people are afraid of being called a bad word. You know what I mean? So that's how they control people. They say, "You're a racist," and you go, "I'm not a racist. Don't say that." And now they control the argument. Now they control the conversation.
Right.
So that's why they do that, is because it's effective.
But when you use incendiary language like that, you're stoking people to commit violent acts. And we have seen that. And we are seeing that now. Some of what's going on in this country has nothing to do with that, but some of it does. When you've got a Maxine Waters out there saying, "You need to get in their face," disrupt at every level. They're stoking violence out there. I don't hear Republicans doing that. Am I wrong?
No, I mean, I'm sure you could point to individual cases, but I think systematically it's not happening like that. But the other thing that it does too is it actually radicalizes people on both sides, right? I mean, it radicalizes people because you think that everyone walking around is Hitler, and what do you do to Hitler?
Right.
You kill baby Hitler. That's what they always say,
Right.
But it does the reverse too, where you have people being called sexist and racist all the time. And then at some point, some people are going to say, well, if noticing crime is racist, then I guess I'm a racist. Or if, thinking that men are not women is sexist, then I guess I'm a sexist. They keep saying it over and over again. Eventually it's going to become true, to some extent.
But you feel like, if you stepped over that and they were in control, you were going to be in trouble. Whether it was going to be some sort of financial sanction or, I don't know, maybe they audit my taxes for the last 5 years because I'm out of line with what the state wants me to do.
Yeah.
And I don't feel that way right now. The Republicans have the White House, both houses of Congress, and the Supreme Court, and I don't feel like my rights are being stepped on.
Right.
Now, if I were here illegally, especially if I were a criminal and I was here illegally, which is a double score because, you've already violated the law by being here illegally, I would probably be a little worried right now, and that's okay.
Yeah.
You know what's not okay? That's a leak in your roof. That's a bad thing, bad day. We've had a lot of storms, a lot of damage coming through here. And, this is the time of year when you're starting to look at it. You want to make sure you've got your house buttoned up as we're going to go into fall and winter. And it comes down to who you trust. Well, let me tell you who I trust. Austin Watterson and his team at Royal Roofing and Solar. You can reach them at 816-540-7057. Roofedbyroyal.com is the website. They did the roof on my house. They do a fantastic job, and they also back up their work. They're local people. This is not some fly-by-night thing who's going to come ring your doorbell when you don't want them to, bless you, and then say, I can get you a free roof. We'll just get the insurance company to pay for it. Austin works with insurance companies. He works with people like Bob Watson at State Farm, and they do the best job that they can do for you within the constrictions of what they have. But the bottom line is you need a roof on your house. And nobody does a better job in the Kansas City Metro than Royal Roofing and Solar. So if you think with all the storm activity that we've had, you've got some issues with the roof, don't wait for the drip, drip, drip where you got to get a pot from the kitchen or whatever and get that, or seeing the brown stains on your ceiling. Get with Royal Roofing and Solar at roofedbyroyal.com, 816-540-7057.
Tremendous people.
You want to celebrate something? The best place to celebrate in this town, of course, with pizza, is at Fun House Pizza. 2 locations, 50 Highway in Lee Summit, 7 Highway in Blue Springs. Jim Dingman, he runs a tight ship, and when I say that, I mean he could hire your kid. You got a teenager sitting around playing video games, send him or her to Jim Dingman. He'll put them to work with their first job. And then when you need to have a party or something, you got your football team gathering here before the fall. Maybe it's a birthday party, anniversary party. Whatever you're celebrating, celebrate it with pizza and cold drinks and fun games and a great atmosphere at Fun House Pizza. You can also order your pizza online, take it to go, come in and enjoy it there in either of the locations, 50 Highway Lee Summit, 7 Highway in Blue Springs. And make sure you tell Jim Dingman that you're a fan of the podcast too. He loves hearing that. So when you think about parties and Funhouse Pizza, you think about the political parties. It's got party in the name. It should be fun, right?
Yeah.
Why do you think they call them?
That transition was not as good as your last one, but it's okay.
Oh, I try. So, I mean, why do you think they call them parties?
I don't know.
Wouldn't you think that would be, something you'd want to hang out with?
That is a really good question, Dale. I don't know why they call them parties.
Perhaps we should Google that. I don't know. It's got party in the name. It should be fun. But we want you to pop some popcorn now because we're going to have some fun with the Democrats. We're going to start with the ever angry Cory Booker, he's always mad at Trump. He's always mad at Republicans. But he's mad at Democrats right now.
Mm-hmm. He's mad at whoever
So
he needs to be.
I like to show up.
Yeah, pause that a second. I want to put this in context a little bit. This is going to be Amy Klobuchar, and this all dealt with a funding bill for police, right? And I guess Cory called out Amy Klobuchar. I don't have the before on this. I just have the after action report. And so Amy is going to defend herself, and she's almost in tears in this clip.
Now I can play it?
Yeah.
And I like to make my case. And I will note that Senator Booker objected to my police reauthorization bill, the cops funding, the Clinton cops funding, long before Donald Trump came into office.
I was just called out by name, and I want to respond.
Oh!
This is what frustrates me. I don't need somebody implying in any way that this is not vital to me and my state, that we have resources for our police officers. That's why I support this package. That's why I'm a co-sponsor of some of the bills in this package. But what I am tired of is when the President of the United States of America violates the Constitution, trashes our norms and traditions. And what does the Democratic Party do? Comply? Allow him? Beg for scraps? No, I demand justice.
He should be a pro wrestler.
Yeah.
Like he's got kind of that lean, that thing that The Rock has. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He was an athlete. Wasn't he an NFL player? I think he was.
Cory Booker?
I think he was.
No.
No?
No.
Well, he was mayor of Newark. I know that.
That reminded me of Mr. Angry Eyes.
Okay.
Prepare to meet Mr. Angry Eyes.
Sorry, I had to throw that in there.
When I saw that clip, I thought of somebody I hadn't thought of in a long time. A guy named Corey Ellis, not Cory Booker. Corey did the night show on KFKF in the 90s. Black guy, a great, one of the funniest people I ever worked with. He passed away not that long ago. Dear friend of mine. He was a terrible employee on many levels. You know how you have personnel files on employees? Mm-hmm. Most of them are, especially one who only worked for me for a year, would be fairly thin, right? Corey's was very thick because he was always testing the boundaries. But when I saw that clip by Cory Booker, it reminded me I was at a Royals game with Corey Ellis, and he could do the angry eyes thing, but he would do it for fun, right? Mm-hmm. And you know how a lot of white people are very uncomfortable around black people. I mean, that's true, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Cory would use that. And I remember we had seats in the upper deck, and he's like, watch me. I'm going to get us to the lower level. And so he goes up to the usher, right, who's an older white guy who's standing there in his little jacket or whatever. And the usher goes, I'm sorry, you can't go down here without a ticket. And Cory did the wide-eyed thing like Cory Booker says. He's like, what do you mean a black man can't go down to the lower level? And this guy just melted into a puddle.
Yeah.
Into a puddle.
Yeah, it's an easy play, man. It's an easy play, and I think more black people should take advantage of it. Ironically, not literally, ironically, but, you're at the restaurant, your steak isn't done right, you make a big deal out of it. It's funny. Come on.
It is funny. So, and Cory was a very funny man, and it was a dear friend of mine all the way up until he passed away. So we got Cory Booker out of the way. How about Eric Swalwell? He's
more like Eric Swalwell. Am I right?
He's what did I say?
No, that was a terrible joke. I'm sorry.
He's he's pumping iron to show how big and strong he is.
More like Eric Swalwell, am I right? I said it too early. Okay, here we go.
I should be working right now. I should be at the Capitol.
I should be in a suit. Instead, Republicans sent us home because they would rather stand up for Donald Trump than release the Epstein files and stand up for victims. We could be at Washington, D.C., lowering your healthcare costs, lowering your grocery costs, and restoring your rights. I should be working right now. Instead, I'm pumping iron at the gym.
What a douchebag. I mean, really, there's no other word that fits that guy. He's a douchebag.
Yeah, he's a ham for sure.
Cory, he's like, Donald Trump violates the Constitution. What's he doing? Tell me how. You need to ask these people this. Cite which part of the Constitution that Donald Trump is violating, and then let's have a discussion about it. You think he's violating the Equal Protection Clause? He's getting rid of people who are here illegally, who have also committed other crimes. All right? Obama did it in the millions, to your point.
Yeah, Eric is he's getting ready. He's in there pumping iron, getting ready for the big fight.
Mr. Tough Guy.
Well, I mean, let's just be real about this. Democrats are polling at a 35-year low, right? People do not like the brand. They don't like what you're doing. And America would rather have you in the gym than screwing up our lives. I think that's true, right? And this is something else. There's so much funny stuff out there. The Democrats put up and then quickly took down. This is their graph, not ours. They put it up. It was a graph intended to show how bad the Trump economy is. And all it did was highlight how bad the economy was under Joe Biden. Look at this graph. Because it shows, first of all, it says U.S. grocery prices reach record highs in 2025. The graph doesn't go to 2025.
Yeah.
It stops in 2024. Joe Biden was president until January 20th of 2025. But you go back to the beginning of the graph, and this is, again, why you need the video, but I put it up on the Facebook page too. But you can see how low prices are when Donald Trump was president. Where does the spike happen?
Yeah, so it might be kind of hard, especially if you're like watching on your phone or something. So over on the bottom left-hand side here, it says October 2019, then October 2020 right here, and then October 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. And then I don't know what 145 to 95 is. Is that like some kind of index or something like that? But you can see cheese, alcohol, grocery, dairy, produce, meat all went massively spike up around the October 21 to October 2022 timeline, obviously during Joe Biden's presidency.
Well, and it was a tweet on X, and it came from the Democrats account at the Democrats, and it slugged Trump's America.
Not very smart. It makes you think obviously, the party leader is not putting out these tweets. It's some college intern or staffer or something like that. But do better.
Yeah.
Get some QC, some quality checks. In this process. How is this it's obviously a bad look for you? How is this getting through the filters?
And I'll say this about Democrats too. They don't understand anything beyond government control. They want more. They're going to fight to keep what they have or had. And keep this in mind. I believe this to my core. Government involvement in most things. I think we've talked about this before. There's probably about five key things that you'd want the federal government to do, and they probably do 15,000 things. There's about 5 core competencies that government ought to do. So when the government gets involved, and Obamacare is a great example of this, everything costs more and it's less efficient. Costs more and it's less efficient. Everything. They're celebrating the 60th anniversary of Medicaid this week. I mean, Medicaid, Medicare, they've screwed up Social Security. When FDR put Social Security in, it was a supplemental check for older people. Now it's like that's your retirement for a lot of people. And it's the third rail of politics. And they've pilfered the money, and they've taken it for this and taken it for that. They screw up everything that they get involved in. What do they do well? The military, I think they do that pretty well.
Yeah.
What else? I said there were 5 things. Maybe there aren't 5
even
things.
The military, it's not that they do it well. It's just that they have to. because it's the federal military, and you don't want it to be privatized or whatever. I mean, there's an argument for that. So, but they're still super inefficient. I mean, how much does an F-35 fighter jet cost? Like $5,800 billion trillion or whatever. It's insane.
By the way, what Pete Hegseth is doing under the guidance of Trump is moving some of that innovation out to the private sector. Because they've done it backwards for so long, and that's why things cost so much money. So that's another innovation that's coming out of this administration. Let me ask you this, because you're a younger guy. Molly Ringwald, do you know who that is?
Yes, I do, actually.
Why do you know who that is?
Because I've seen The Breakfast Club many times.
Okay, all right. Pretty in Pink?
I have seen Pretty in Pink once, but Breakfast Club I've seen a few times, and then she's not in it, but my all-time favorite 80s movie is Ferris Bueller's Day Off, of course.
Yeah.
Which is a classic.
Well, most people your age and younger don't know who Molly Ringwald is, and certainly don't give a shit what she thinks about presidential politics.
I definitely fall into that camp. I do not care what she thinks about presidential politics, but I do know who she is.
Yeah. Well, she thinks that Colbert being fired by CBS tees him up for a run for president.
Let's go.
Why not? I mean, that's, you look for out of the box people. Colbert, why not?
I mean, yeah, at this point, it's like there is an argument for accelerationism, I think. We live in a clown show country. Our people are ill-informed, and our government is stupid and or out to get us, to kill us. So, like, why not? Yeah. Why not run Stephen Colbert? Why not run Stephen A. Smith, which we're about to talk about? Why not run like the silliest, most ridiculous people that we can find? Let's go for it.
Well, I mean, to your point, Steve, let's go back to Colbert for a second, because, Trump won with 77 million votes, right? 77 million. Colbert has about 2 million viewers a night.
Yep.
So where's he going to get the other 75 million votes? That's a good question, right?
Good question.
I would think Stephen A. probably has a better chance to be president. And he is the guy. Colbert's a phony, right? Colbert he's a character. He's a parody of what liberals think we are. Don't you think that's right? That's what Colbert is. That's what he was.
Yeah.
On Comedy Central, that's what he was.
Yeah, he really drives the narrative on, the left not understanding the right. I've always said this is if you look just purely at politics, one of the biggest distinctions between the left and the right in America is that the right understands the left and the left does not understand the right. And I can say that personally from experience.
I think that's true.
Yeah. And, he's like the prime example of that. It's just straw man after straw man, baseless, empty accusations. Just his audience, applaud while he's like, repeating whatever lame talking point. I mean, there's just nothing behind it. It's totally shallow.
And I would say the first, other than we made fun of Biden. I mean, who wouldn't? I mean, with all the things he was doing. But I would say for the 4 years that he was president, we tried to keep it on policy. We didn't agree with what he was doing here. We didn't agree with what he was doing over there. And all that you get from the left is Epstein files, release the Epstein files.
Come on, man.
And for the 4 years Trump was president, what did you get? Russian collusion.
You're full of shit.
Yeah. So that's all you got. You didn't get policy issues. Where are the policy? You're right. They don't understand us. And I think we understand them better. So Stephen A., will he be their savior, right? I didn't think Trump was going to win. Maybe Stephen A.
Well, listen, at some point in time, somebody needs to challenge the president on what he's doing now, because if what you're doing is so great, why would you want to distract our attention? Well, that's not the Donald Trump we know. The Donald Trump that we know lives in the moment of things that he deems to be doing successfully in his eyes. If the big, beautiful bill, preserves the 2017 tax cuts and does so much for the economy and does so much for small businesses and what have you, like he has proclaimed, why would you want to distract our attention with all of this stuff? Maybe you're evading the issue of the Epstein files because your administration overpromised and underproduced. We all know what you were telling MAGA right, that there was a whole bunch of stuff to be released, and certainly it was forthcoming, and certainly it did not happen. And so when you look at it from that standpoint, you find yourself saying, excuse me, the former president, treason, the former vice president and Democratic nominee for the presidency of the United States, you know, you want her prosecuted. It just seems to be, I wouldn't say much ado about nothing, because I'm not trying to absolve anything from anyone in terms of any kind of actions that they may have engaged in that, dare I say, are illegal. We don't know that. We haven't seen any proof of that. But for Trump to be focused on this is where the big problem comes in. You're looking backwards when America needs to look forward.
Oh, that sounds like a campaign pitch right there.
It does.
So that was a new clip. I just want to play one more because that was from like this week. But
he made the point, though, that you made last week, you know, about the Epstein files, that Trump overpromised during the campaign.
Or at least that's a possibility.
I think it's true.
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility. Either that or they're covering it up, which is not good either. So, but this is an older clip, I think, from earlier this year or maybe last year or something.
And you came to me and you said to me, as the American people, that you wanted me to be your nominee for the presidency of the United States of America. I have to confess to you, it is something I would consider. I didn't say I'd do it. I didn't say I'd want to do it. Me personally speaking, whether it's...
So what do you notice about that clip? I'm curious.
I don't know.
You know where my mind is always on like the aesthetic things, the look and all that. He's got the campaign hand going. You said that you would nominate me as president.
You know, Bill Clinton started that
the head thing,
the fist thing. That Clinton started that back in the 90s. We used to call it putting the CD in the CD player, because you got your thumb up there and it's like you're just putting the CD player in, or putting the CD in the player.
He's doing it right there.
Yeah, doing it right there. He's putting the CD in.
I don't hate Stephen A. Smith.
I don't either. I like
stay in your lane, dude.
Well, you know, you got ESPN, you got Olbermann. Remember him? I mean, he's
he's
nutcase.
The worst, yeah.
You know, at least Stephen A. can put a sentence together, right? It's not word salad coming out of his mouth.
Yeah, Olbermann is a great follow on X because he's so unhinged. It's just everything is just like, he just quote tweets people and he's like, "You're fat, you're a racist, you're a fascist." It's like totally unhinged, and it's just amazing. I mean, it's like watching a burning building, you know. I feel bad for the guy, honestly.
We'll see what happens. Harris is not the answer. Not that I would give advice to the Democrats. Harris is not the answer. If you wanted a more traditional, you know, nominee, you know, I look at Shapiro. I look at Gavin, even though Gavin, you want to take a shower after he talks to you. And then if you want to go way out in left field, you know, Stephen A. is out there. So we'll see what happens. I know where I was going, and I kind of forgot the transition, so we'll just move on and tell you that Clay Como Shooters is there for you to help you, because the next segment we're going to talk about is talking about how unhinged this country is right now. Are you protecting your family? You know, we say that what can change the equation is a good guy with a gun. Are you a good guy with a gun? Clay Como Shooters wants to fit you with the right firearm and train you on how and when you would use it. So call them. Take care of your family. Protect your family. 816-452-4867. They're right there along 69 Highway in Clay Como, right between I-35 and I-435. They're a full-service firearms dealer. They buy guns. They're experienced trainers. They've got law enforcement background. They've got an indoor shooting range where you can practice and make sure that you're doing things the right way. And here's the key: affordable pricing. They're not a big box store. They're a neighborhood business looking out for the community. So protect yourself and protect your family. Okay? Protect yourself and your family. Find the right firearm and get trained on it. You know, we were talking a little bit about Medicare. The guy who's got the lowdown on that is Kirk Doris. If you're turning 65 or you know somebody in your family who is, you really need to be on the phone with him, because those folks in Congress, they're continually toying with this. And, you know, which plan do you need? Which part do you need? There's so many different ways you can go. Do you need a supplement? Kirk Doris can find the right one for you that you can afford. 816-701-6661. He is on the web at MedicareSimplifiedKC.com. His office is at 3600 South Nolan Road, Suite F in Independence. But if you can't get to him, he'll come to you. He'll set up a meeting in your house and take you through everything that you need to know. Because Medicare is not a simple plan. Because it's from the government. What did I tell you? It's more expensive and it's more inefficient. You need somebody on your side, and that is my friend Kirk Doris. So what the hell is the matter with people? We are burying another hero in Kansas City. Wyandotte County Deputy Elijah Ming, native of Fort Scott. You got his picture up there. Look at that smile. And everything that I have seen, by all the accounts that I've read, an amazing human who took that smile with him everywhere he went. He lost his life to a 3-time loser thug. We got his picture?
Yeah.
Thug. Absolute thug. Look at that guy. He's 38 years old. He's been in prison already 3 times in his life. He just got out December 24th. So you tell me, convicted felon just gets out of jail in December. Is it legal for him to have a firearm?
Don't believe so.
No, it's definitely not. So he gets a gun. A woman calls the sheriff's department and she calls 911 and says, I'm trying to move out of this place and this guy is preventing me from doing it. We call that a domestic call, right? So what did the left want to do with domestic calls like that?
Send a social worker.
Right, an unarmed social worker. So we're not doing that in KCK. We sent Elijah Ming, who's a deputy sheriff. We sent a police officer from KCK. They get there, they roll up, and this guy starts shooting, and he kills Elijah Ming. So we lose somebody who was a net plus for this community, and we have this thug who's a loser, who's been in jail more than he's been out, and now finally they're going to take it seriously, and the death penalty is on the table.
Too little, too late.
Too little, too late for Elijah Ming and his family and what they're going through right now. And the people in Fort Scott where he grew up, where he was the homecoming king. You know? It's unconscionable that this is happening. Already this year, we've had an EMT stabbed to death in an ambulance who was trying to help a woman. And now we have a sheriff's deputy who is gunned down in the line trying to help a woman move out of a bad situation and all that. And it just pisses me off to no end. I just want to spit nails over this. And I saw Tracy Chapel Vick on Monday night, and I said I was talking about you on the podcast because here's a situation. Oh no, not on the podcast. I was talking about her on the air on KFKF. I said in Jackson County we had a chance to elect a prosecutor who would prosecute crimes and put people in jail for a long time. And we decided to go the other way. And the turnstile continues. And the cops have to deal with these people time after time after time. How many times in Wyandotte County did this scumbag who killed a deputy come into contact with law enforcement?
What were his previous arrests for? I don't know if you mentioned that already or not.
I don't have his rap sheet in front of me, but I know that there's one in there for aggravated assault. He's a bad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And obviously he gets out of prison. The first thing he does is he gets a gun, gets in a situation with a woman. She wants out of it, calls the police, and they roll up, and his first instinct is to shoot the cop. So what do we do now with this thug? And man, I put this up on the Facebook page, and some of my more conservative friends don't agree with me, and I get that. Because you know my feelings on this, Kurt. I think that what would serve us better as communities, especially these blue communities, where they keep putting these people out, and the stories that you don't see, that we don't blow up like Elijah Ming, the black-on-black crime that happens every day. It does happen every day. They had a situation in KCK yesterday where somebody took random shots at somebody out walking a dog, and then he holed up in a building for 7 hours and had to be talked out of it. That's what's happening in our cities every day. So the solution in my mind is if you commit a crime with a gun, you go away for a very long time. You don't negotiate it down. There's no plea bargain. If you commit a crime with a gun, whatever the minimum is, let's make them do real hard time. 10 years, 15 years, I don't know what the answer is. And if you commit murder with a gun and there are no mitigating circumstances, you go away for life without possibility of parole, no commutation. There's no pardon for your sentences and all that. If you kill somebody with a gun and it's murder, again, no mitigating circumstances, because I know there's wiggle room here, self-defense and all that. But if there's no mitigating circumstances, you go away for life in a box and you never come out because you have proven to us that you can't live in polite society. That's my solution. And I would take the death penalty off the table because I'm not comfortable with the government having sanctioned to kill people. I'm just not. And I don't know that I'm ever going to get there. And one of my friends said, you know what, I'm for the death penalty, and if they make a mistake once in a while, so be it. That's what gets me, is the possibility that there's a mistake, that we kill an innocent person. And, you know, my Catholic teaching tells me that, you know, life matters everywhere along the line.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is a spiritual issue, not to get too deep into it, but I've kind of had a recent change of heart on this too, because I used to be more pro death penalty. But for me, it's about repentance, right? You need to repent for what you've done. And if somebody's killed, they lose their chance at that. They can no longer do that. You never know. Maybe 50 years down the line, somebody will come to Christ and realize that what they did was wrong and truly repent for it, you know? So if you kill them, you're kind of taking that off the table. So
I don't want to take the chance that they're ever in my neighborhood again.
Yeah.
For any reason. That's why I say put them in a box and all that. Yeah. But as far as the state sanctioning that, one of my other friends said, well, you know, they put Jesus Christ to death. That was capital punishment. What would Jesus say? Right?
Yeah, they put him to death, and we, you know, that was
some of the arguments on there just blew me away. It's like, fry his ass. Okay, again, if there's any chance that Governor Kelly or any other liberal governor down the road can say, oh, he was just misunderstood, we need to give him another chance, I say fry his ass. But if there's
that's a whole different story. I mean, two wrongs don't make it right, you know. Just because somebody down the line could try and let him out doesn't mean, you know, that you have to change your morals on this issue.
I don't want to take the chance that he's ever in my neighborhood again, which is why I'm pretty strong on what I think about gun crimes. And I think if we really got serious about it, I think if Tracy Chapel Vick was our prosecutor in Jackson County, we would get more serious about it. Maybe we'd do away with this. Maybe people would say, instead of looking at it going, yeah, if I do this, they're going to put me right back out on the street. No big deal. And I'll get a gun. I know they're illegal, but, you know, criminals don't look at the criminal code and say, what should I do here?
Right.
They're criminals, for God's sake. Anyway, that just it gets me going. But obviously, Kansas City is not the only problem. There were other stories. How about the multiple stabbing at a Walmart in Traverse City, Michigan? We hear from any Democrats on that? I don't think so. What I heard on that was a retired Marine, a good guy with a gun, put that to an end. Did you hear about that?
No.
Yeah. Black guy, by the way. Black Marine put that to an end. Violent brawl in Cincinnati leads to arrests and an idiotic statement from a city council member. Let's roll the tape on this. This is the NBC News reporting on what happened in Cincinnati. Then I'll tell you what the mayor pro tem of Cincinnati said in response to it.
And in the red shirt, then others jump in. As fists fly, one man falling to the ground, repeatedly kicked and hit for nearly a minute. Some in the crowd attempt to break up the fight. Moments later,
this woman right here.
Yeah.
This, like, I'm sorry. Like, we need to get our women out of these situations. That's just unacceptable. That somebody is allowing her, that she has the gall to come in and try and fight these big men. She's going to get knocked out.
Wait till you see the woman who took not this woman who's running in, but the woman in the black dress. I think she's the one who gets cold cocked.
It appears a man punches one woman in the face, knocking her to the ground.
Yeah, that's her right there.
Lying still for nearly 10 seconds, blood spilling from her mouth until another woman helps her. Cincinnati's mayor releasing a statement Monday saying in part, quote, I am outraged by the vicious fight that occurred downtown. It is horrifying to watch, and this unacceptable and disgusting behavior is intolerable in any part of our community. The shocking videos rapidly spreading on social media and instantly becoming a political flashpoint. Vice President J.D. Vance weighing in.
What I saw is a mob of lawless thugs beating up on an innocent person.
J.D. Vance's half-brother, Cory Booker, is running to unseat Cincinnati's current Democratic mayor. Bowman releasing a statement calling for the resignation of the city manager over the weekend. As the videos and the controversy continue to catch fire on the right,
that guy, he got cold cocked.
Posting angles with captions focused on the race of those involved. Elon Musk posting on X saying, quote, that guy almost killed this woman. An assistant attorney general saying, quote, our federal hate crimes laws apply to all Americans.
Women, don't get involved. Stay away.
Well, they were there. I mean,
I know, but she's getting in his face. I'm not blaming the victim. I'm just saying, like, this can be avoided. I'm also not saying that anyone should be getting in street brawls. This whole thing should not have happened. But you have these women who, and it's like, it's a product of feminism. They're like, well, I'm tough. I see that movie, with the woman superhero on TV. I can handle myself. Ain't no man gonna tell me, blah, 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 blah. And then they get up in the face of these massive guys. They take one shot to the head. Now they're smacking their head on the ground. They're almost dead. Like, stay out of it.
Well, I'm no lady, but I wouldn't get in the middle of that either.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. You want to go to the statement by
so Mayor Pro Tem Victoria Parks. She's the Mayor Pro Tem, which means she's essentially the vice mayor of Cincinnati. She says, quote unquote, they begged for that beatdown. They begged for the beatdown. Nice. Okay. So you had that. There weren't guns involved there. Just a lot of fists flying, right? You had Traverse City, Michigan, where there were no guns involved, just a knife. So, Democrats are pretty quiet on all that stuff. Then you got a guy who walks into a building in New York and he kills 4 people, including a New York City cop, and that got him going.
You want me to play the clip?
Mm-hmm.
That was just a picture of him walking into
Governor,
the...
even when Joe Biden was president and Democrats controlled Congress, your party did not pass a ban on semi-automatic rifles, even in the wake of really horrific mass shootings like this one. So what makes you think that anything would be different now? And do you fault your own party for not acting on this when you were in charge?
I'm looking for political courage. I'm looking for people to stand up for the people of this nation and say enough is enough. How much more slaughter do we have to endure because of these assault weapons? We had this happen in my hometown of Buffalo in 2022. You remember 10 people shopping at a Tops grocery store in a black part of our city. This individual targeted them, a white supremacist, because of the color of their skin. They were slaughtered, gunned down with the same kind of weapon. We sprung into action. We made sure that our laws were tougher and tighter. And we're doing much more to keep people safe in the state of New York. But I don't want to be having my residents affected by someone coming from another state who could easily get their hands on this assault weapon, travel across multiple states, and do what they did just yesterday. So I want to be able to protect New Yorkers. It's my number one priority. And it's hard to do it when other states aren't stepping up. And certainly Congress has let us down.
So remind me again what an assault rifle is.
Well, I want to point out one more thing first that she said right here. I'm going to scroll back a little bit.
From another state who could residents affected by someone coming from another state who could easily get their hands on this assault weapon, travel across multiple states, and do what they did.
So she's saying there, coming from another state, traveling across multiple states. So what is the solution there? Is the solution that we have borders on every state and you have to stop at a checkpoint and the police have to search your car every time you cross state lines? Is that what she's suggesting?
I don't know what the practical thing that they ever suggest is. They just go out when there's one of these stories, they wring their hands and go, what are we going to do? We got to ban these assault weapons. And then we have the conversation of what is an assault weapon. It was an M4 rifle.
Right.
I don't know what that is. Do you?
Yeah, I mean, typically there is a technical definition of an assault weapon, but it's not what they think it is. I mean, they just call everything that, but really the term is meaningless in terms of the modern political vernacular.
Yeah.
But
one of the things they go off,
it's a black rifle that looks
cosmetic.
scary.
Cosmetic.
Yeah, that's what they call an assault weapon.
They'll go off on semi-automatic weapons. Aren't they all?
Like 90%, yeah.
Unless it's a bolt-action rifle or whatever.
Bolt-action rifle, pump-action shotgun, single-action revolver, everything else, most handguns, most rifles.
Yeah. The 22 that I had as a kid, semi-automatic, because you pull a trigger, it goes bang. Pull a trigger, it goes bang. It's not pull the trigger and boom, like you're in some movie or something. That would be an automatic, which is not what was the case here.
Yeah, and they're so ignorant on the topic. I don't know if I'll be able to find it, but Andrew Yang had a post. You remember Andrew Yang?
Oh, yeah.
He had a post right after this New York shooting, and he said, oh, here it is. It's too easy to get automatic rifles in America. It's too easy to get an automatic rifle in America. He hasn't taken it down, which, to his credit, I guess, but he got massively ratioed, 11,000 comments, 4.8 thousand likes, because automatic rifles are heavily regulated. You can't just buy an automatic rifle.
Right. Well, and then you got the whole
they just don't know the terminology. They don't know what they're talking about.
Then you have the whole race thing. Kathy Hochul said something about in the black neighborhood, and there was a white supremacist, and he just gunned them down because of their race. CNN, when they originally reported this, was so hopeful that they had that narrative going for them.
Showing you here, John's reporting that they do know what he looks like, male, possibly white, mustache, sunglasses, in that building, isolated to, they believe, to various locations, including upper floors, is where they're
possibly white.
As she's reporting it, they have his picture.
Yeah.
I mean, the guy,
he doesn't look white.
He doesn't look white. Yet, oh my gosh, they were hopeful. So they didn't have that, right? So they needed to go the other way. The other way is, well, it's the gun. And and then you got Chuck Schumer. He's going down to the well of the Senate. I want to play this clip from Chuck Schumer. I agree with several things that he's saying in here. We just have a different solution in mind.
Yesterday, my city, the greatest city on earth, was shattered when a gunman took the lives of 4 innocent New Yorkers in cold blood, just 4 blocks from my office in Midtown Manhattan. I actually worked in the building where the shooting took place for 1 summer as a summer associate at a law firm. One of the victims, Officer Islam, was a husband, a father of 2, with a 3rd baby on the way. He was the best of who we are, a proud Bangladeshi American, a proud cop from the 47th Precinct, a proud New Yorker. He died doing what NYPD officers do every day, running towards danger, protecting others, putting his own life on the line, and that's what he did, and he paid. He paid the ultimate price. When an NYPD officer is killed doing his duty, it's not just a tragedy, it's a rupture in the soul of our city, our beloved city. And it requires that we mourn and honor all those we lost. I've lived in New York my whole life. I know this city, I know the people, and I know how we carry pain like this, how it lingers. Still remember the officers who have been shot in the line of duty months and even years and decades ago. Because that's what happens when innocent lives are taken in the heart of your home. That's New York, courage under fire, grace in the face of horror. It's who we are. As we mourn this awful day in New York, we must remember we cannot keep meeting these moments with thoughts and prayers alone. We owe these families more than silence. We owe them action. For now we mourn, but we mourn as New Yorkers together. We'll carry on, yes. That's who we are. but we will never be the same.
Okay, so I agree with Chuck that it crushes my soul when we lose police officers. We lost one in KCK. They lost one in New York. Crushes my soul. But I'll point this out. They sent a quick response force in from the New York PD. It could have been a lot worse, right?
Yeah, I think the FBI was on scene too.
And that's something they wanted to take out, right? When they were defunding the police, they wanted to get rid of all that. So you keep that in mind, Chuck. And then what is your solution? We have, the estimate is there's 300 million firearms in this country. If you waved your magic wand tomorrow, you would not fix this problem. I mean, this guy, have you heard he bought the rifle from a supervisor at the casino he worked at in Vegas? Private sale.
Yeah, I didn't hear that.
Private sale, like $1,400. How do we prevent that? I don't know how you prevent that. You cannot wave a magic wand and prevent that. You know, the answers are going to come in the punishment phase. And I know that there are going to be things that slip through the cracks. You cannot stop every bad person committed to committing a bad act. You just can't. You know, and we have so many examples. Democrats wait. They sit and wait for something like this to happen so that they can pounce. They don't say anything when somebody stabs somebody. They don't say anything when somebody beats the crap out of somebody to death. They don't say anything when they run over you with their car, beat you with a baseball bat. They don't say anything when that happens. They wait for something like this, and then they get on their gun bandwagon. And then I just ask the question, how are you going to do it? What magic wand are you going to wave?
Yeah, and I mean, the clip is fine. I mean, it's not, there's nothing wrong with.
But he gets to the end and
what he says, but he doesn't really say anything. I mean, that's the other thing. It's like he's just kind of, you know, doing the speech of like, wow, this is terrible. We hate to see this happen. Blah blah blah. Like, okay, you know, I mean, we agree, but what are you going to do about it? You know,
right. So he says at the end of it, he's like, we've got to get to the point where thoughts and prayers aren't enough. Obama said it every time there was a mass shooting. Biden said it every time there was a mass shooting. Okay, so what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Propose something that makes sense. And another gun bill is not going to get it done. How many laws were violated here?
Well, can I also just point something out with that too? This is something I may or may not have said before, but the whole rag on thoughts and prayers is really problematic. I mean, thoughts, who cares, you know, but prayers are real. Like, we do need to pray for these people. We need to pray for the perpetrators. We need to pray for the victims. We need to pray for our country. Like, that matters. And for people to just dismiss that, like, oh, well, thoughts and prayers, you know, whatever, blah, blah, blah. We need to do something. You know, It's like, we are doing something, you know? Do you not? I mean, I don't know. That's just really kind of irks me.
Well, I would pray for the people in Cincinnati who got the crap beat out of them, you know, but apparently the mayor pro tem there thinks they had the beat down coming.
They had it coming.
Yeah. So we'll switch gears here and move into something maybe a little more lighthearted. It's not lighthearted if you run into something with your car. Definitely don't run into a person. I mean, I saw that on a TV show we were watching. That's one thing. That's fake. That's phony. That's fraud. But don't run into people. It's bad enough you run into a deer. It's going to give you a bad day. Dale's Body Shop is going to turn that frown upside down. They'll fix that car, make it showroom new again. Dale's is the original Dale's Collision Repair Shop in Blue Springs on 40 Highway. They've been taking care of cars since 1987. Dale restores cars, classic cars, so he really knows what he's doing there. So if you've got a fender bender, Dale's Body Shop is going to take care of you. They've been doing it for 37 years, all the way back to 1987. When they put your vehicle back into service, you know it's going to be fixed right. Folks come from all over the Kansas City metro area to Dale's Body Shop. So if you get an fender bender and they say, hey, where are we going to take this thing? Make sure you tell them Dale's Body Shop. Taking care of customers, taking care of you. And of course, Dale's Body Shop works kind of hand in glove with Bob Watson at State Farm. State Farm Insurance, they take care of your car insurance, your home insurance, your life insurance, your business insurance, even that pontoon boat that it might be a little chilly this weekend to take out on the lake. I'm enjoying the weather change here in Kansas City, but we'll have more summer weather to come. Make sure that pontoon boat is insured by the team at Bob Watson State Farm Insurance. He's been insuring folks for over 50 years. He's the gold standard in the Kansas City area, and he's licensed in both Missouri and Kansas. Let him give you a rate quote. Bundle your home and car insurance and save even more. 816-229-7878. 816-229-7878. That's Bob Watson, State Farm Insurance. His entire team there. Terry's the one who usually takes care of me when I've got to add a car or add somebody to the insurance. And she always makes sure we get the best rate and the best coverage so that when we need it, they're going to be there for us. Okay, on the lighter side, at least I think it's on the lighter side, actress Sydney Sweeney. Do you know who she is?
Yes.
Okay, well, I mean, you knew who Molly Ringwald was, so apparently your knowledge of these things is deeper than I thought. Yeah. I saw Sydney in season 1 of White Lotus on HBO. Mm-hmm. That's the only thing I've seen her in. What have you seen her in?
I don't really know. I don't remember.
Have you seen her in a TV commercial? Because that's what we're going to be talking about. White, by the way, White Lotus, not a racial thing. It is a flower that is the logo for the hotel in that TV series. Do you feel like you have to justify everything before the Democrats hit you with play number 1? Because I feel like that. It's like anything I say,
who cares?
They're going to say it. All right, okay. So Sydney did an ad for American Eagle jeans, and the left is exploding with anger. Let's roll the commercial. First of all, American Eagle is getting a lot of free play on their commercial. I think we should send them a bill.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I'm not here to tell you to buy American Eagle jeans. And I definitely won't say that they're the most comfortable jeans I've ever worn. Or that they make your butt look amazing. Why would I need to do that? But if you said that you want to buy the jeans, I'm not going to stop you. But just so we're clear, this is not me telling you to buy American Eagle jeans.
Sydney Sweeney, Hasbro jeans.
You see what I did there, right?
Yeah, I see what you did there. The inference they're drawing is that Sydney, who is a blonde-haired, blue-eyed white girl, has better genes than non-whites.
Yeah, they're going for the whole eugenics. Guess what? It's fascist. It's just like Nazi Germany. That's their take. Surprised?
The gymnastics they go through to be offended. It's like they wake up every day, and we have some of those keyboard warriors who come to the Facebook page, and it's like, what can I be pissed off about today?
Yeah.
And so today I'm pissed off that this beautiful white, blonde-haired, blue-eyed girl is modeling jeans, and they're even saying it. They're saying the quiet part out loud. She's got the genes for this.
Yeah.
You don't have the genes for this. I showed this to my wife, and she also points out that, she's a very attractive young lady. Mm-hmm. They're not going to have some, big as a barn, fat woman modeling their jeans.
Well, they used to. I mean, that's the thing. There has been kind of a sea change in that. If you look at a lot of these major brands, when all the woke trajectory was happening in our culture, you had all these plus size models and diversity and LGBT blah 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 and everything. And now I think a lot of brands are kind of starting to get away from that. You have Sydney Sweeney, a traditionally attractive woman, in ads. You had Nike, who has done a lot of the kind of woke marketing in the past several years.
Right.
They had a famous a big ad that came out after Scotty Scheffler won the British Open. Let me see if I can find it real quick.
Do you think those jeans would make my ass look big?
I'm not even going to comment on that. Here is the ad that Nike had. So it's like family friendly. It says, "You've already won."
Yeah.
And then the second part is, "But another major never hurt." So, it's promoting family. It's it's at least not woke and fat and gay, so like there's definitely some kind of change happening there.
It's
we'll
crazy.
See if it holds up or not.
Yeah, well, we'll see. And again, we're going to send them a bill, because if we sold one pair of jeans, I want to get paid for it.
I don't think we have, but we'll see.
Until next week, this is Dale Carter's America.
The views expressed on Dale Carter's America are Dale's and Kurt Wheeler's. They do not necessarily reflect the views of KFKF or Steel City Media. Comments can be sent to dalecartersamerica@gmail.com. Check back for weekly episodes. Subscribe, spread the word, and give us a 5-star review. Thanks for being a part of Dale Carter's America.